These Democrats, they are running on the word affordability. I know Donald Trump has said it's a con job.
The Democrats are the greatest con artists in American politics. A year ago, President Trump inherited the worst inflation crisis in modern American history from the Biden administration.
We have more clips of Karoline Leavitt to hop into, this time on MAGA's home turf of Fox News, so you know someone else is going to have to handle the fact-checking. If you can, leave us a like on the video. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers, and let's just get right to the breakdown.
There's this pressure to release the double tap, the second hit on that drug boat, and ultimately the president says it's up to the Secretary of War whether he should do it or not. So your thoughts about releasing that tape?
Well, how refreshing that we have a commander-in-chief who trusts our Secretary of War and trusts Pentagon leadership to do the right thing by our warfighters. And I think it speaks to the depravity of the Democrat Party that they have stooped so low. They are attacking our military leadership. They are attacking the brave men and women who conducted these strikes well within the law, following the orders from their commander-in-chief.
Notice how there's not even an attempt to answer this question. It's just a pivot to Democrats are attacking troops and defending drug traffickers, which is funny given the times we're in, considering Trump just called for the execution of veterans like Mark Kelly and Jason Crow for freedom of speech in a video on the grounds of seditious conspiracy, despite him pardoning MAGA thugs convicted for the exact same crimes. Veterans deserve death for it, MAGA thugs don't. That is Trump's position. We all know it. And that's not even the worst of it. Republicans were on Fox News calling him a loser. Trump famously called John McCain a loser. They're talking about dragging Mark Kelly, retired combat veteran, through being court-martialed. But yeah, Democrats respecting international law and calling out blatant war crimes, they're the ones disrespecting our troops. It's a literal fantasy world you have to live in to be MAGA at this point.
President Trump is going to give a positive, economic-focused speech where he talks about all that he and his team has done to provide bigger paychecks and lower prices for the American people. And don't forget, a year ago, President Trump inherited the worst inflation crisis in modern American history from the Biden administration.
This is really hilarious considering when Biden left office, inflation was 2.4% and trending down, with wages outpacing it for 2 years consecutively, with under 3% inflation being considered economically desirable. And again, since Trump took office, we've only seen it reverse trend, go up above that 3% barrier, but yet nobody in MAGA is calling this the new worst modern inflation crisis in history or whatever. It's almost like they just point fingers when they don't actually have solutions or arguments. The truth here, the hard reality for MAGA, is they expended, I should say, their political capital by the end of 2020. They were done. They had lost legislative, politically on every single issue. They failed the COVID thing. But then, of course, the lasting COVID effects, they utilized that strategically, to give them their credit or whatever, to point fingers at the other side and pretend like it's all on them. You know, COVID, the global issue, make it a Democrat issue. But now they have no actual answers, and people are starting to realize it. And so their reckoning is coming.
These Democrats, they are running on the word affordability. I know Donald Trump has said it's a con job because we know that they want to raise taxes on the rich, and the way they're going to do this in free grocery stores and free buses, it's not going to work. But what should Republicans be saying? What should the Republican message be to combat what the Democrats are doing?
Well, the Democrats are the greatest con artists in American politics. They are pretending to champion the issue of affordability when they themselves created the worst inflation crisis in a generation. You can't create a problem and then turn around and say, I'm the best person to fix it. No, that's why President Trump was reelected, to fix it, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Okay, this is the second time she's tried this failed talking point and bit of propaganda, so let's just properly address it and do away with it like the weak little talking point it is. As you can see here from these graphs, inflation was a global issue. It was caused by supply chain shocks from the pandemic and labor shortages. We first experienced deflation under Trump in 2020, where inflation went negative. This is also harmful to an economy. It then started trending up. It was doubling month over month beginning in April of 2020. Obviously, because it was coming from a position of being negative, it took a while before it compounded up to seem out of control. But the trend, anyone who was like wise on economics would know that between April 2020 and April 2021 was the largest one-year increase in inflation ever. It peaked at 9% prior to any spending Biden signed into law going into effect. Once the IRA passed the Inflation Reduction Act at its peak, with some immediate measures to help stem inflation, as well as the American Rescue Plan's spending measures now going into effect during the 2022-2023 year, the inflation immediately began to reside, shooting down, leading to the fastest and strongest global recovery from COVID of any country in the world. And if you want to look at the numbers, Trump massively outspent Biden in COVID relief and in 10-year debt. The idea that it was Biden's policy, Democrat spending, whatever these clowns want to point to, is fan fiction that relies on no knowledge of what actually happened and revisionist history. It's insane to see.